What's up? This is Gardy with Clear Life Media. I'm hanging out in League City, Texas at Gripon Gardens with my man AJ. Because nobody knows grass like a hippie. It's a live version of the More Than Just Grass podcast. AJ, what's up?
Woo! What's up? Yeah, it's your lawn care daddy over here. It's getting hot.
It's a little hot.
Okay, we're dripping a few beads of sweat. There's some things to know as we move into the summertime. Okay. Mitigating irrigation is super important. What you're going to put down on the lawn is important. Stay away from high nitrogen fertilizers right now. And we got a few things coming as we go through this episode today. Right. And a huge shout out to Justin at Gripon Gardens. Thank you for inviting us here. It is a lovely, beautiful place hidden on Pecan Orchard in League City, Texas. Wonderful variety of plants, beautiful little place to walk around. Sometimes I'll recommend to people, hey, if you don't know what to do on a date on a weekend, go take your girl to a pretty garden center. We're not talking about the H-Town Garden Center, okay? I mean, those are nice places, but a local garden center like this, there's trees for shade as you walk around here, so even in the summertime, it's not too brutally hot, right? They even have a little shop in there, so if you do get too hot, they got AC running in there so you can cool down, right? It's a beautiful place to be, so definitely, if you're local to the area, check out Gripon Gardens on Orchard Street in League City.
Yeah, I was walking around because it's my first time to get out here. I've heard of Gripon Gardens. We've talked about it a lot and some of the products, and Kurt came out here, earlier this week to go see, hey, how we're going to set up, how we're going to make this broadcast happen. But there's the ponds, there's little trails, there's a tortoise.
Yeah.
There's all kinds of stuff. It's really cool out here.
I believe they even still have some, for sure they have koi fish when you walk in the front as well. Mm-hmm. They used to build ponds, right, and stock them with koi fish. Lynn's Landscaping and Gripon Gardens have been around a long time. Mm-hmm. One of the oldest landscape businesses in League City. So thank you guys for having us here.
Yeah, there's an event. It's open to the public. There's a lot of people. There's vendors. There's us doing this.
Yeah.
And so I think this is going on till what time today?
4 o'clock.
Okay.
So spring blooms and craft brews, baby.
Is that that's the topic, right?
Yeah.
About being out here.
And we just ate a little bit at a Sauce Time.
Yes.
Food truck.
Yeah.
I had I think it's called a St. Cristo, kind of like a Monte Cristo. Mm-hmm. It's pretty good.
Yeah.
Hey, I even had the cranberry sauce.
Yeah.
Can you believe I didn't get any on my shirt?
Yeah, but you were very particular about that. Be like, I can't believe I got this, and then it was pretty. It was impressive that it is still clean.
Yeah. Kurt was really wishing otherwise on me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kurt, didn't happen, dog. So, something that I do want to also bring up. I have a few things next to me. Fire ants are always an issue in lawns. I'm sure you've gotten in a little tussle with some fire ants.
For sure, yeah.
Right? Has your kids?
Yes.
Yes.
They're playing in the backyard. You think everything's fine. It's safe. Hey, I got a fence and everything. And then all of a sudden, there's these little intruders trying to make everyone's life and day miserable.
Yeah, mm-hmm. And they hurt. So let me bring up something by Fertilome. This is probably one of my favorite products of theirs because it is a fire ant killer. It's a bait. You asked me earlier, what's the difference between some... To be quite honest, I can't go into all the details because it's not something I study a whole lot just yet. However, I know this product here, Come and Get It, Fire Ant Killer by Fertilome, has a spinosad product, which is a bacteria. So it's that bacteria that will kill the fire ants.
Okay. And
it's a bait. You put it out when everything is dry. Don't disturb a mound. Normally, with a lot of fire ant baits of any brand, you're not supposed to disturb the mound. One of the reasons I found out a long time ago is because the ants are smart. If you disturb the mound, they will want to move the queen. Okay? So you don't disturb them. So basically, you catch them off guard.
Right.
And they'll bring the bait in and feed it to the colony, and the colony dies.
Okay.
Almost makes me a little sad to say it out loud.
Yeah, it seems like it's a natural thing. Have you seen those? It's pretty much some kind of art, and I feel like it's probably not good for the environment, maybe. But they pour that hot, like there's like metal down there,
yeah,
and it just goes through, and they pull it out, and it's just amazing to see how deep and complex those trails and like valleys and stuff that they are down there. Because I see it, I'm like, oh, it's just a little mound. They're under there. They're deep in the ground.
And the things they do, if you do a little homework on how ants work inside their mounds, they'll create separate rooms for even like they're dead. They'll put them in a separate little chamber.
Yeah.
They have a waste chamber. With it, the way they dig all those tunnels, they naturally aerate the soil. So as much as we hate them, they do provide an ecological and environmental service. If you ever noticed, around ant mounds, it's always a lot greener.
Okay. Right?
And it's because oxygen is going deeper into the soil, and they're loosening up that soil so that the roots can go deeper. So it's probably, one of the things I would tell me, not knowing any better, is that, like, well, AJ, you said you don't like aeration, but you're telling me that ants aerate the soil.
Right? Yeah.
And I would say, hey, you're making a fair statement there, okay? I'm just not a fan of, like, ripping it up and tilling the soil versus the way the ants do it, to where they don't disturb the structure of the roots, and they don't largely disturb structures of biology in the soil, right? Whereas when we go through with our plow methods, basically, we're very much disturbing soil structure.
I'm not going to lie, whenever you did say that they naturally do that, aerate or whatever, it honestly went through my mind. But they do it in a way that they're hardwired to do, and that's just what they've done for years.
Right. So there is that Come and Get It by Fertilome. Come and Get It Ant Killer. Really good stuff. Okay? Now, the other thing. Yes. It's getting hot, y'all. Your local lawn daddy's out here sweating. Something that is really good to increase heat resilience in the lawn is giving your grass some seagrass, some ocean grass,
okay.
Man. Seaweed,
all right.
Yeah, grass likes weed.
That is true. There's a lot of, my yard has some weeds. Right.
So this one that I happen to have with me here is Microlife Super Seaweed. It's a very good product. It's almost oops proof. And something that's good to know about it as well is that these products these days have been so much improved versus, say, 10, 20 years ago, that they don't smell terrible. Back in the day, I just got started 14 years ago, so compared to some of these people, I'm still a baby out here. But it used to be super fishy, super seaweedy, and nasty. Now, you do still smell like the seaweed aspect of it, but that's a concern sometimes of when I put stuff on my lawn, is it going to stink, right, when it's natural. This stuff does not leave a foul odor, and I would say most brands really don't, especially when used according to the directions. Mm-hmm. You're diluting it with plenty of water, and it helps increase chlorophyll production. It helps with micronutrients in the soil. It helps increase the health of the roots in the ground. So it does quite a few things to increase heat and stress resilience as we're going into our hot summer.
Yeah. Before we went on, we talked about how you stress this, reading the instructions, the directions, and that's a good starting point, right?
Yeah.
Always. I don't know if it's just a guy thing, but a lot of times, like, unless it's like Legos, I'm like, okay, I need the directions. If it's like a table, how hard can it be? But whenever you're dealing with, I guess, something that you don't have, though, I don't have 14 years of experience in this, I got to read the directions, right?
Hey, honestly, that's kind of what led me into the organic side of things, because I didn't read directions on some stuff and it impacted me very bad.
Yeah.
Now, I'm also a believer in, say, with something like seaweed, yes, you want to read the directions because you don't want to waste the product, waste your money, waste your time, right?
Right.
But if you go a little extra with it, you're going to be okay. And like, even if you're outside, you spray everything with any brand of seaweed. Dude, your kids can run all over it. Dog can run all over it. It's not like, oh my God, I just sprayed the lawn with herbicide. Stay on for 48 hours. Tell your kids that. Does that work?
In the summertime? No, unless it's like raining and it's like mud outside. They want to go outside, and they should. You know,
Yeah.
get them outside.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you got a yard or a place or the park or anything like that. Take them outside. It's good for them.
Yes. So that's kind of another reason why I really got over to the organics, because I'm human, like I always say. I've messed up. I didn't read instructions, but as you mentioned, Gardy, that is always a good place to start. Whether it's natural, right, or definitely if it's a chemical product. Because the other thing is, with any kind of product, you do have like a maximum effectiveness.
Yeah.
Right? Like, say if you take, say creatine when you're working out. I've read these things that like say load up on it, right?
Right.
And then I hear other stuff that says it really just take it consistently.
Get it in the system. That's what I've heard.
Yeah. So, like with this seaweed, if I throw it down the whole bottle in a small area, it's not going to necessarily be any more effective than if I just used the instructions.
Yeah. This is kind of interesting because you brought up the creatine and made me think of working out. Like genetically, I have a peak. I'm not anywhere near a peak because I don't put in that lifestyle of bodybuilding or whatever. Eating clean all the time, a peak. Does us being on the Gulf Coast, the area that we're in, the kind of grass that we have, we can see a yard in a magazine, but genetically our yards and grass can't match that. Do we have like a genetic peak, I guess, if you will, for our area or yards? Does that even make sense?
It does make sense. That's a really cool question because I've never heard it that way, but I see it that way, right? Because I'll make lawns look really good and healthy, and it's like they will peak, right? And they're like, oh, I've had you for a while, AJ, and it's not getting any greener.
Right.
Right? Oh, man, I've heard that a few times. And there is things to do to, like, tweak it to get this different kind of green effect with tweaking the nitrogen and the nutrients. But when you start doing that, you really have to like dial in your maintenance, your watering, stuff like that. Because if you're not doing those sort of things, the tweaking it is very short term and it ain't going to make much of a difference. So cool enough, they're coming out with new varieties of St. Augustine. Okay. And I have a customer over in like Deer Park. He showed me the other day, he put down some palmetto sod, which isn't new, it's been around. They say it's shade tolerant. And then the common one most people get, that's at most garden centers, soil yards, what have you, is Riley St. Augustine. Dude, that palmetto St. Augustine was fire. Oh!
What's the difference?
It was just so much greener. It really was greener.
Yeah.
It looked like it was establishing a lot better. Now, I haven't done anything to prove this one way or another. But what I've also heard consistently is palmetto sod does better in shade versus Riley St. Augustine. Okay? And I forgot. I think the new one they're coming out is a Cobalt St. Augustine. That's being developed and just started selling now, right? And then I'll just say it out loud because I know it's never going away. They have a freaking variety of St. Augustine you can spray Roundup on. It is Roundup ready.
Oh, wow.
St. Augustine.
Yeah.
Don't really want to encourage it, but it's out there because I know people are going to go nuts with the weed killing trap, right? But I'd say, hey, go look at that price tag. Okay? I haven't found out any of the new information about the Cobalt St. Augustine just yet, but I know people being aware of our conditions, they are trying to improve make a grass that's more resilient to our conditions.
That's awesome.
Right?
Yeah.
So to also further go into depth about that answer, you have different types of Bermuda. Okay, you got common Bermuda, you got Tifway 214 or something. Then you got different varieties of zoysia grass, like emerald zoysia is so beautiful. When you mow it and you cut it right, it's soft and lush. Those are slab lawns, baby. Soft and lush and beautiful. And then you kind of said like the picture and the peak, right?
Right.
What we see a lot of that is super irritating on these pictures, these videos, these commercials, it's usually a completely different grass type than our area.
Right.
I rarely ever see a St. Augustine lawn in a commercial, even with these local companies, right? Ooh, I guarantee you, no commercial for a local company shows you local grass.
You know, is that because, well, that grass is better? Is it more expensive, or it just doesn't do good in our area? You know, and who decided, hey, this is what we're going to put down here?
So you have warm season grasses and cool season grasses.
Okay.
Warm season grasses are for the south. Cool season grasses are for the north. One of the huge things about warm season grasses is you typically don't have to overseed them. With St. Augustine, let's just get this clear, there is no seed, so quit looking for it. If you think you bought a bag of seed of St. Augustine at Home Depot, go return it, get your money, because you're about to tell me to kill your new weeds. Okay? But up north, you can aerate, top dress a certain way, and overseed the lawn, because a lot of those north cool season grasses, do come in seeds, and you can overseed a lawn and fill it back in. In fact, because of the way they freeze up there, and they actually have true seasons versus our 3 days of 30 degrees, you know, their stuff does die off in a whole different way. Okay. Ours just goes dormant.
Yeah.
So that's a good question. So let me put it out there again. There is no such thing yet as St. Augustine seed.
Okay, I got two questions. And one of them, I'm going to ask them both so I don't forget. Okay, how does the St. Augustine come to be then, since there is no seed? The second, outside of subdivisions, a lot of time, they don't put those pallets down. They go and spray these ditches with this, and I'm guessing there's seed and maybe some other stuff. But that grass, they're not watering it. They're not doing anything, and that sucker grows, and they have to mow it multiple times. Why don't they just put that down instead of us having to, you know, do all the hard work and feeling like, hey, the fertilizer and all that stuff? It's like, bro, that stuff will just grow and go.
What exactly kind of grass it is, I'm not sure. I'm guessing here, but like common Bermuda, fescues, stuff like that you can get in seed. It's called hydroseeding is what that process is, and it goes down with a fertilizer that helps those seeds germinate faster, right? Yes, it is very resilient stuff. Bermuda's resilient stuff. Fescue's resilient stuff. St. Augustine, if we left it alone more, it'd be more resilient, but that's just not how we're wired. You know, we're wired to like super manicure this stuff.
Right.
And it's really to our own detriment how much we're told to do to the lawn sometimes.
It's the HOA. I'm here so I don't get fined. I'm trying to learn this stuff, right?
You say it's the HOA. I say it's big mass commercial media marketing.
Yeah.
Right? If I don't kill the weeds, my neighbors are going to judge me. Oh, my God. I'm not for that, bro. But St. Augustine can be really resilient, too. One thing I notice about St. Augustine is sometimes the more you leave it alone, the better it is.
Okay.
Right? I was just at a customer's house yesterday and had Green servicing them for quite a while.
I like that. It took me about 5 seconds to understand Green.
Green.
Okay. I heard of him.
So, has that company servicing for a couple years, and you know, he's telling me, I believe this company ruined my lawn, And I'm just going to say, like I would tell anybody, there's multiple factors involved. So I don't want to fully point my finger at like any one company or service, right? There is the customer part of it, and there's my part of it of teaching and helping you understand further how to manage it. But he's looking to the right and to the left of him, and he's like, why aren't my lawns like these lawns? And I look over there, and he even shows me some stuff that says what they did to the lawn. And this is why I really want to, like, not point out a specific company on this, okay? Because one of those products is a pre-emergent, all right? It's called prodiamine. It is very prevalent in lawn care, no matter who's servicing it or what. It's a part of many schedules. It's a part of many recommendations. It's a pre-emergent, so it's supposed to help you stop the weeds. Let me tell you, if you messed up your watering or your lawn got impacted by chinch bugs last year, the last thing you need to do this year is put down a weed killer and a pre-emergent and an herbicide of any kind. And the reason why is because all that pre-emergent and all that herbicide will prevent your new grass from taking root. And you see it, you lift up the grass, you see all these runners bouncing all over the place like it's a little roller coaster down there.
Yeah.
Right? And if you don't know, it looks like take-all patch or a fungal issue. And sometimes it can be both. It can be a few different things. But let me tell you, if you have a stressed out lawn in any means, any sort of herbicide is the last thing you want to do. So again, I say I don't want to necessarily point the finger at one company because it's many people doing the same thing. Mm-hmm. It could be Green, it could be citrus schedules, you know?
Yeah.
Like all that stuff, and so many because we got our minds so wrapped on kill the weeds.
Yes.
You know what I'm trying to tell people to do, right?
Be biodiverse like me.
That's true.
Yes.
And support soil biology.
Right.
Right?
SSB.
Yes.
Train.
Woo, woo. SSB train, baby.
Yeah. Okay, so that other question, then if there's not seeds for St. Augustine, how does that work?
Plugs.
Okay.
Okay. They take little pieces of already grown St. Augustine, put them all over places, and feed them properly because they go out in what's called stolons. All right? And those stolons drop roots. It goes boop, 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 boop.
And then it runs.
Yes. And that's what you call your runners. It does go to seed, but those seeds are, to my knowledge, sterile, so they don't do anything.
Yeah.
But they can be a good sign of good, healthy St. Augustine.
Okay. That's cool.
And Bermuda, you can get seed, but a lot of it is grown in a similar fashion. So St. Augustine carpets only over the grass, right, on the top.
Mm-hmm.
Bermuda has seed. It grows in stolons as well, but they're much thinner. And then also it grows in rhizomes underneath the soil profile. So it can come from below to the top, which is pretty fascinating to me. It can be very aggressive.
Cool.
Yeah. I love grass, man.
Not just grass. There's more, though. There's more than just grass.
Absolutely. Trees, bushes, biology, birds, butterflies, even all the other bugs. Do you know wasps?
Uh-huh.
You know them?
I know them. I've seen them at my house.
Like, do they have names yet?
I'm not on that level yet.
Not on that level? Well, I got one. His name is Jim and Timmy and Jose and Juan and Don.
Yeah.
Well, wasps kill spiders.
Okay.
Pretty neat, right?
Yeah.
And then people are like, I gotta kill the wasp. I'm like, dude, you don't like spiders either.
They want to kill the spiders.
Right.
And then the spiders help with the pop of the bugs, which we complain about the bugs.
We do. And one of a very common spider around here is called a wolf spider. A wolf spider is a predator to many pests we don't like.
Okay.
So I highly encourage people to lay off the spider killer on the outside of your home. On the inside, I completely get it. You know, when you're sitting down, dropping a deuce, the last thing you want, friggin', Charlotte's Web dropping down on you.
Right. Woo! Or for me, on my kids, there's a little playground, the swing set and stuff, and so that's the first place that they go. It seems like, right?
Uh-huh.
But whenever they go out, I could clear it every day. They're quick. they're out there.
They are.
You just got to wipe them down. But, when I've talked to you and other people about it, hey, we complain about the mosquitoes and the flies and all these other bugs, and they're helping keep that under control. So just wipe it down. They'll find a new spot, and they'll make it. They'll be back tomorrow.
Absolutely.
Right.
And if you are kind of curious about spiders and you're not totally icked out by them or whatever, go to Armin Bayou Nature Center, because you can walk through those trails. Now, do it with caution, and see these big, I think they're called golden orb spiders or banana spiders. They're beautiful, big, yellow, have these big, beautiful, intricate webs.
They're big. They're massive, huh?
Yeah.
I've seen them.
Yeah, but they're kind of gorgeous,
Yeah.
right? And intricate. It's just a really cool way to see it in a different perspective.
There's a park in Lamarck that is on the way to Hitchcock, and the name of it escapes me. I think the county controls it. We've done some filming and stuff out there before, but they have those. It's big open areas. There's trees, and there's like a little gazebo and places to sit and stuff, and you'll see them out there. It's massive. If it rains, you'll see it on the raindrops, and it's nice to look at. Yeah.
Right.
Very cool.
So I'd encourage, let's rethink and reframe how we think about bugs, how we think about nature as we continue in our urban development. Hey, I love creature comforts, dude. I watch Netflix, right? I got my PS4, But I also want to do things that help nature from the space that I took from it.
Right.
In a way. So have you ever been to Exploration Green?
I haven't.
Dude, it's right over in Clear Lake.
Okay.
Okay, they took out like the whole golf course that was in Clear Lake forever, dug it out, and they have little islands in there and big ponds, and they got so many beautiful wildflowers growing right now. It's a space for birds to safely go during their migration. You got such plant biodiversity, animal biodiversity, and I love how deeply intricate or interwoven it is into the urban area. And in my opinion, that should be standard everywhere, right? Because not only are we helping with integrating nature and humans in this environment, because hey, I want a space to live, but these other things deserve a space to live too. But also it helps out with flood mitigation. Dude, we live in freaking Houston, Texas, League City, Galveston Bay. It's just a matter of time.
Right.
Have you, I know you've lived here, almost your whole life?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
You ever been caught in a flood?
Oh, yes.
Sucks, right?
And it's not even like anything. It's just like a heavy rain. I lived in Dickinson for a bit, and it was crazy how much that happened in that season of being there. Like trapped in the house, I can't come into work. I'm gonna flood out my car.
Yeah.
Type thing. It's just really odd.
Yeah. I lived in Dickinson too, growing up, and I lived in Pasadena for a while. Dude, Dickinson and Pasadena, man, they would flood quick.
Yeah.
Right? And that area of Clear Lake, if people are familiar, it's around like Ramada and Diana, real close to the Harris County Annex over there. It helped prevent that whole area from flooding during Harvey. Okay? That's such a big deal. And I have customers over there. You look at lawns, there's a lot of beautiful lawns over there. It's not like the weed seeds are floating over to the guy's lawn and ruining everyone's lawns over there, right? So that's not a thing to, whoa, what if it messes up my area? It's not doing that, people. And those animals, too, are kind of I want to say, for the most part, pretty good at staying in their area, because that's their habitat. So they don't want to go chill in your yard necessarily, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's freaking beautiful, man.
AJ, as we kind of sew this up, is there anything else that you would like to share or shout out or let people know?
So I also talked to Lacey over here today at Gripon Gardens with Landscaper's Pride. There's black humus. They make, is what's my favorite thing to use as a mulch. Again, I'm just so happy to be here. Thank you, Justin, for inviting us out. They carry Landscaper's Pride. They carry Microlife. Soon they'll probably be carrying some hippie fertilizer. Okay? Gardy helping us out, and Kurt back there, man. What's up, my boy? Clear Life Media. So if y'all need some help out there getting your media out, these are the guys to talk to. Thank you for watching. Please like, subscribe, follow, and remember, listen to the Lawn Care Daddy. Have a super groovy day. Peace.